maybe eighth time is the charm. Who knows? My name is Coda, and for as long as I can remember, I've suffered with depression and anxiety. And I'm not trying to accomplish anything in particular with this video other than just getting my story out there, I suppose. The video that's playing in the background is kind of like a quote-unquote artist rendition of how I feel about myself internally. I'm not an expert in Photoshop by any means, but I tried to really convey how I imagine myself when I'm alone. More often than not, I realize logically that I'm not alone. There has to be other people that feel this isolation, that feel this sense of dread on a daily basis, and for no particular reason. I know that logically, there's people around me, you know. There's people at work that I would genuinely consider friends. I have family, you know. My father is probably one of my biggest advocates, and my grandmother, same, one of my biggest advocates. But every single time that I envision myself in my own head, I am on this island or rock-like structure, completely alone. And this island or rock structure is really only big enough for one person. And I'm surrounded by water, but the water and the sky are completely black. And the world that I exist in is almost always devoid of color, except for maybe myself and every so often the island. And I don't know if that directly relates to how I'm feeling on a particular day or not, but regardless, I feel completely alone. And I can be surrounded by people who I know care about me and still feel this way inside. And it sucks. My depression over, I would say, the past 2 or 3 years has gone from somewhat manageable to now being almost out of control. And of course, I've gone and seen therapists, and I've gone and seen psychologists and psychiatrists, whatever. Been on medication, am currently on medication, but I still find myself falling deeper and deeper into these holes. And it's gotten to the point where now I don't care about much of anything, including self-care and my health. My nicotine intake on a daily basis is absolutely ridiculous. I am eating so much, just trying to devour my feelings, regardless of whether they're good or bad. And the amount of weight that I've gained in a short amount of time is just inexplicable and quite frankly disgusting. I feel like absolute trash about myself. And for those who don't deal with depression on a daily basis, one, I envy you so bad. But to wake up and be disgusted by your own reflection, to feel genuine hatred towards yourself, and to be constantly unhappy, unmotivated to do anything, even the things that you love the most. It's so hard. And I would not wish this on my worst enemy. And the thing about it is, especially specifically pertaining to the loneliness part, feeling like I'm on an island, I've tried to fill that void with significant others. And the unfortunate part about it is when I'm with another person in a romantic sense, I'm far more happier than normal. But that depressive side, the part that I can't control, it comes out and it ruins everything. Being depressed and anxious with someone who isn't is difficult. And even more difficult with someone who shares depression and anxiety with you. It amplifies it because their depression, their anxiety, you take that on. And you know how it feels, and you don't want them to feel that way, so you overcompensate, and you try to, I don't know, you try to take that away from them, and you add to your own plate, and they do the same, and it's just this vicious cycle of never being okay, waking up and resenting yourself. The amount of self-loathing that you feel. As I said, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Nobody should wake up feeling like they want to die. And yet, that's exactly how I wake up every single morning, wishing that I hadn't. Because of that, I feel like I don't deserve to be happy. I look back at every single mistake that I've ever made in my life, even if they were minor mistakes, and the amount of guilt that I feel for those things that I've done. It's like, turned up to 12. And you feel like you're undeserving of any sort of affection and love. And that's another thing that gets put onto your partner, seems like you're chasing validation, but really, you're just afraid that you're that shitty, Well, I just wanted a piece of my story out there. If anybody out there is feeling the same way, you're not alone. And to be honest with you, I don't know if that's a comfort or if that makes me more sad that somebody else is experiencing the same thing. I don't know. Regardless, everybody stay safe out there, and I don't know. Let me know what you think of the piece I made here, and yeah.